Today's video is brought to you by 1st Phorm. This is a pro-freedom supplement and nutrition company. And when I think of their products for you, I think of adding value to your life. And there is one product of theirs that I use more frequently than anything else that they make, and that is their meat sticks. They have these in an approximately a 20 gram of protein stick. Think smoked meat. Doesn't need to be refrigerated. Eat it on the go when you get hungry. This channel is sponsored by them. I'm literally doing an ad for them right now, and I purchased these. So what I suggest you do is go down in the pinned comment, use the link that I have listed there. That is an affiliate link. It generates sales for the channel, and let them know that I sent you. Special thanks to 1st Phorm for making today's video possible. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. It's great to be here as always. You're watching the VSO Gun Channel. I've got a relatively short video today. What I wanted to do first is bring to your attention that the proposed rule for restoration of firearms rights to those who have had them taken by our government has dropped on the Federal Register. And it's not all that bad. It's 48 pages. I have it linked in all the relevant places so that you can go check that thing out. But what I wanted to do with today's video is, before you go over there and leave a comment or anything like that, I'd like to start a discussion with you in the comments here so we can bring our thoughts together collectively on how we ought to respond to this sort of thing, because I understand that there are people that have differing perspectives in our community about this topic. Now, I solidly sit in the camp of firearms disability should not be a thing. I am solidly in the camp of, if you are too dangerous to society to be in society and armed to provide for your own self-defense and the self-defense of those that you care about, then you are too dangerous to be in society at all. And I think there ought to be a complete reevaluation of that system and how that balance is. So if you are a multiple serial murderer, you should not be on the street, period. It doesn't matter if you have access to weapons or not, because you should be incarcerated. That's how I think about it. However, one of the things that I thought was interesting about this posting on the Federal Register is it specifically asks the people, you and I, what types of offenses should be your firearms rights are disabled for a period of time, and what types of offenses should result in a permaban. It also looks to me like they're trying to do this on the relative cheap. I mean, the amount of money they're talking to accomplish this thing isn't actually all that expensive. And for those of you who don't understand how this works currently, there is still a way for people who have committed felonies, nonviolent felonies, to obtain their firearms rights back. In fact, one of my friends that is an attorney, that's like all they do at that firm. And it's not supposed to be that way. You shouldn't have to spend $50,000 to $100,000 to have your rights restored. In fact, the law is written with a path to do this in a relatively cost-effective and direct way. However, it has been consistently defunded since 1992 by a Congress that consistently bows to special interest pressure and defunds that portion of the ATF's mandate. Well, recently, and we covered this, the Attorney General has revoked that authority and restored it back under the Office of the Attorney General. Now, don't get me wrong, the ATF is under the Department of Justice, but it has restored it to the Office of the Attorney General. So the funding mechanism that has been keeping the ATF from doing it, it has gone back up the tree, so to speak. And we're talking about people that did stupid crap like writing bad checks, or the one that's always cited are the folks that like hit somebody's mailbox with a baseball bat or something like that. There are a whole host of crimes that you can catch a firearms disability for, that should you really be unable to participate in society at that level and have all of your rights for things like petty theft just because it went over a particular value. I don't think that that's the way that it should work, but I want to know what you guys think about that, because I think that there is some merit to having harsh punishments to curtail particular behaviors. It's just when you start talking about the disability of what are supposed to be inalienable rights endowed by your creator and enshrined in our Constitution, literally the second thing that they wrote, if those rights are alienable to anyone, then are they really rights? Or are they more like privileges? So I have a big problem with the whole concept of having disabled classes. As a matter of principle, I very simply think that it should be citizens that have all of their rights and the incarcerated. So again, let's have that discussion down below where we work that sort of thing out. And then I beseech you to go over to the Federal Register and leave a well-constructed comment for or against. But we know, those of us that have been through this before and we know what this process looks like, and we've had instances where comment periods have resulted in the government not doing a thing. You need to go leave a comment, because this is how we get this sort of thing to go through. Again, this isn't a bill. This is an executive action. This is being done by the Department of Justice. And yes, this can be undone by the next Department of Justice. But the idea is that you get people churned through the system and you show that it's an effective tool and that it works and that it doesn't cause a big problem, and then it becomes the norm again. That's how you move the culture around. But we know that those that absolutely oppose it through whatever indoctrination process they've gone through, whatever brainwashing, that they will be out there in force, organized, leaving comments. So those of us who are thinking critically about it definitely need to go over there and participate in the process. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys, and I'll have it linked in all the relevant places. Thanks for tuning in. Later. Turns out that I needed a couple extra seconds in this video to get over the arbitrary length limit for YouTube and all the things. So, Public Affairs, U.S. Department of Justice, scroll all the way down to the bottom after the justification, click on the link where it says Federal Register here, and then there's the full text.